That's Steinmetz and Darryl the Guru Johnson with you.
Yes.
And let's get right to it. Jesse Holley, he's the host of Believe in Cowboys on the Believe Network. He's a former Cowboy wide receiver. You want to follow him on social media, you can do so at Mr. Fourth and Long. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt, fellas. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. I mean, we're getting excited. We try to not get too high or too low here, but it's tough. It's tough with this game. I mean, it's going to be a big game. I think it's a game of the year in the NFL so far this year. What are your thoughts going into Sunday night's game?
Get excited, man.
Okay.
Football we're about to witness on Sunday night. Get excited about your team. Get excited about the matchup. Get excited about this long, historic rivalry between the Niners and the Cowboys. Get excited about it all. We watched enough dud football games throughout the year that when we have one that actually matters, that has some juice behind it, absolutely get excited about it, man. Shoot, we don't know what tomorrow brings. Let's get excited about these football games.
Damn,
Jesse,
I think you're right. You're right.
Tell he's Steiny.
Let's go.
Jesse, I got a secret, man. Born and raised in the Bay, father from Bullard, Texas. I'm on this Niner station, and I root for Dallas, but I'm telling my partner, not just the masterpiece that Dan Quinn put on the field with that defense last year in the playoffs. I am out on Dak, Jesse. He don't read it. He don't see it. And when I look at this young Brock Purdy, I'm already giving him the stamp of, I don't know where it's going, but he's got those mechanisms I just don't believe Dak has. Tell me what you think of Dak and he can get it done. And what would another loss do to Dak and the confidence that Cowboy fans would have for him in Dallas?
Well, let me start with this. Wow, you're out on Dak. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's okay. I'll say this. I say that Brock Purdy, while he's had a great start to his career, if he could get anywhere near where Dak has gotten his career as far as success and winning games, then you got something. So let's take a small sample size of Brock Purdy, which he's done fantastically well. But you have to be able to sustain that over a long period of time, playoffs included. For Dak, and I was just about to teach this before you guys called, the one thing that I think makes the difference in this game than the prior two games against the Niners is the offensive coordinator. I, for one, was not a fan of Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator. And the reason being, I thought Kellen Moore was an offensive coordinator who was one who had a collection of plays but didn't know how to strategically use them. And he ran a lot of man type of routes in zone coverage. One of the good things about this Niners defense, I call it a percentage defense. Not fancy 4-3. They're not bringing a lot of blitzes. They're going to run cover 2. They're going to cover 3. They're going to run man-to-man. This Niners defense, they're going to play the percentages. They're going to say, we're betting on our guys winning more than your guys winning. So you may hit us for a deep pass right here. You may even break for a run here and there. But we're going to do enough discipline, assignment sound level of football with the athletes and dogs we have, because they do have them, that we're going to win the long run. Prior to getting Mike McCarthy to take over the play calling with the partnership of Brian Schottenheimer, Dak didn't have the answers to the test under Kellen Moore. So you're running a lot of these man routes into a zone defense, and the Niners just said, cool. Greenlaw and Fred Warner and company said, we're going to just play the percentage, and eventually we'll get a tip pass. Our front four, Nick Bosa, will get pressure, hurry you up. Things will be off, and we'll get interceptions. We'll get turnovers. And they got 2 interceptions a year ago. I think under this new offense with Mike McCarthy calling the plays, Dak is much more in control, and the efficiency is there. It's take profit. It's take the first open guy, methodically move the ball down the field. Now, we have to get better in the red zone. That's no secret. But the Cowboys haven't had a problem moving the ball down the field. And I like Dak under this new mechanism, the way that he's distributing the football to all receivers and not trying to force it into guys. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a chess match between Steve Wilkes and Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan. And the team who gives up the most turnovers in his game are probably going to be the one who loses it.
Yeah, we're talking to Jesse Holley, former Cowboys wide receiver. Both these teams have just committed 1 turnover each in 4 games. That's certainly been a big part of each team's success. What do you think of Brock Purdy? After seeing him, he's played 10 games essentially, Jesse, but he's been real good in those 10 games. What do you see there?
You know, when sometimes you get into a relationship with a woman or whatever, however you choose, or whatever. I'm not, I'm man and woman type relationships, but you get into a relationship where it fits. It's perfect. You finish her sentences, she finishes your sentences. She gets your humor, you get her humor, you like some of the same things, and it just works. I think that's what Shanahan has found in Brock Purdy. The relationship just works. He's not looking for a guy to be Patrick Mahomes. His offense doesn't call for that. His style doesn't call for that. His offense and his style calls for a guy, be right, be on time, be accurate, and do what I ask you to do. And Brock Purdy is perfect for that. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's
anticipatory.
Very well. There we go. Anticipatory very well. So I think he is perfect for that offense. He is perfect for Kyle Shanahan. That marriage works. Hence why you see Jimmy Garoppolo gone, why you see Trey Lance on our football team now, because they found a marriage that works for one another, and he does exactly what Kyle Shanahan needs and asks him to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Hey, Jesse, I was going to follow up with Trey Lance. You know, I rooted for the kid and his opportunity out here, but I felt like, you know what, I did it so much. I felt like he didn't do his part, and I'll just leave that there. But when you heard the news that he was coming, or Dallas and Jerry didn't ask anybody, was going to get another quarterback, what message did you get from that, and what do you think about Trey Lance on the Cowboys?
At first, I didn't understand it. I was confused as everyone else was at the time, and I get it. Like, when you look at it, hindsight's 20/20, you see a guy who you guys gave up a ton to get. You think, low risk, high reward. Maybe in the future this kid can turn out to be something and down the line. And when Dak Prescott gets to a point in time where his talent is no longer welcome here, hopefully by that time they've got a chance to see what Trey Lance could be, and they make the move on it. I did not like the fact that Jerry did not consult with anyone. I did like the fact that Dak Prescott had to find out the same way that I found out. I'm not saying that you have to call Dak Prescott or run it by him, but after you make the decision, I think a courtesy call would be nice.
But Jesse, what message? But that, to me, that was a message to Dak. Like, dude, you ain't got all that gravitas you once had.
Nah. That's not the way Jerry operates. Jerry operates in the sense of, I'm going to make a move because I want to make the move, and if it's right, no one else gets credit but me. No, that's the way Jerry operates. Jerry is a guy who's he's sometimes very clear on his message. If you've been around him long enough to know when he doesn't like you, you'll know. When things begin to change, you'll absolutely know. The thing about Jerry is he's always one that wants to keep it, and this is the problem. No other team in the National Football League has been more blessed or lucky or whatever you want to call it at the quarterback position than the Dallas Cowboys in the last 20 years. When you win on an undrafted free agent in Tony Romo, who kept your franchise afloat for all those years, however you feel about what he was in the playoffs, whatever. And the same thing with Dak Prescott. You get a guy in the 4th round who has to beat out Tony Romo and then has to beat out Kellen Moore, who both of those guys lost a job through injury, and then he plays as well as he's played for his 8 years. Most teams would look at all these teams who are giving. Look what you guys did. You gave up 3 first-round picks and the house to get a guy in Trey Lance because you understand just how important the quarterback position is. So, in that, I don't know what Trey Lance is. I don't know what Trey Lance is going to be. I think Jerry took a shot in the dark and said they want to get rid of him. Low risk, high reward. It's also, and people don't miss this part, it put Jerry back in the news again, in the news cycle again, to be talked about again, to have their name on the front page again. That should never be missed when it comes to Jerry Jones. He's always going to try to keep his name relevant, his team name's relevant. I'm surprised Taylor Swift hasn't come to the Cowboy Stadium yet as a guest. He would have loved for the Chiefs to be on the schedule this year for a home game. Taylor Swift would have had as many suites as she wanted, but Jerry always wanted to keep his team's name relevant and in the forefront of the media.
Jesse, let me ask you this, and we're talking to former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. When you look at the 49ers offense, they got some weapons, but obviously it's McCaffrey's the main guy. Is there, you know how you, on defense, you sometimes say, well, let's try to take this away from the Niners, let's try to take that away from the Niners. Is it possible to take a McCaffrey or limit him in any way, or is he different?
He's different, and the coach that he plays for is different because of the movement with McCaffrey. You know, he's not a guy like Derrick Henry where he's going to line him up in the backfield, I formation. No, you split him out. He goes in motion. You use different, like the way that Kyle Shanahan distributes his opportunities makes it very difficult to stop a guy like McCaffrey. So you got to just hope that you can contain him. To be honest with you guys, the guy that I'm most worried about that may not have the national news, McCaffrey gets the national news, right? George Kittle is by the way, George Kittle is a kid that I actually trained for 2 years. I trained him out of college.
Oh.
I trained him his first year in the league out here in Texas in Frisco. But George Kittle, national name, right? He's a wrestler. He has the hair. He has the attitude. But it's Brandon Ayuk that worries me the most.
Yeah.
This is a guy who does not get a lot of national attention. He does not he's not in the conversation of being one of the best receivers in the league. But when you look up, you're just like, damn, Brandon Ayuk, 1,000 yards here, 1,000 yards there, big plays there, big plays here. He's the guy that you focus so much on McCaffrey, you focus so much on Kittle, you focus so much on Debo, and you look up and he's gotten 7 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. You go, well, how did we lose the game? And it's Brandon Ayuk had the big plays when you needed them the most to win a football game. So McCaffrey, your best bet is to try to limit him and what he does in his big plays. I don't think you stop him because of the versatility, but it's Brandon Ayuk who I have an eye on. I'm almost like, we better have an answer for that guy, because if not, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah, Jesse, I'll get you out of here on this one, man. We got a lot in common. So in 2012, I won this contest at Lucky Break, and I've been on the radio ever since, and it's changed my life, Jesse. My dream came true. I'm living it with my partner here. But you also were part of a 4th and Long reality TV show put on by Michael Irvin. You parlayed that into a roster spot on the Cowboys, and I'm looking at the video now, 2011. I was watching the game, Dallas Niners OT, and you catch the bomb in OT from Romo. Speak to that, man.
You know, what a day that was, right? You know, shout out to Tony Romo. I mean, came back from a punctured lung and a broken rib. And just to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of that, Des Bryant had actually hurt his thigh the week before we were playing the Jets and didn't play that game. And I actually was supposed to be in the starting lineup with the 11 personnel. And then last minute, coach changed his mind. And I was like, I was legitimately hurt because I had worked so hard and so long to finally get my chance. And they opted for Dwayne Harris to go into the game, and Dwayne screwed up the entire game. And I remember my good friend John Kitten, who came into that game, had a touchdown pass, said, hey, you have an opportunity to impact this game. And I didn't play offense all that game. And while the big 77-yard catch was a great catch, when I did get my opportunity, I had 2 big slant passes that was on 3rd down that kept the drive alive, that we kicked the field goal to go into overtime. And then Tony comes in the huddle. And at the time, Coach Garrett was the head coach, and he called in the play, and it was 585 Harvey. It's another one of those simple, basic routes. And Tony's hurt, Tony's battered, and Tony comes in the huddle. I'm standing right next to Tony, and I can hear the play come in, 585 Harvey. Tony kind of like sucks his teeth, shakes his head, and goes, F it, guys. Let's go win this football game. And he called a play called Z-Poker. And Miles Austin was the person who ran Z-Poker, but he had got hurt in that game and was out of the game with hamstring injuries. And it was a play that was specifically set up for Miles Austin. He was the first read, the second read, the third read, and if it wasn't going to him, it should have went to the first row of the stand. And when Tony called it, I kind of was like, wait, Z-Poker? I'm the Z. Oh, snap, this is coming to me. And it happened, and
Wow.
Dante Whitner bit on the run fake. And he eventually ran me down. But 77 yards later, we get to the goal line, and then Dan Bailey, who actually bought me a steak dinner because he missed a field goal earlier in that game that would have actually given us enough points to win that game. I gave him redemption. He then on went to make 32 straight field goals in a row. is an NFL record, and I said I'm the one who birthed it. Dan Bailey gave it.
Nice.
There you go.
So yeah, that was a great opportunity.
That's
right
awesome stuff, man.
Jesse Holley joining us on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah.
Just real quick before we let you go, is it safe to say that the Cowboys would not want a shootout? And give me a prediction.
No, there's two good defenses, man. I find it hard to believe this is going to be a shootout. I think this is going to be a great game, but it's going to be a battle of the minds. It's going to be one of those games when you look back on it, you're like, damn, they slugged this one out, man. It's going to be some hard hitting. It's going to be some big plays. It's going to be a bunch of everything that happened in this game. But I think this game is going to end kind of similar to the way it was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's going to be around that, 16, 19, 2017 type thing. I don't see this. I could be completely wrong, right? I could be completely wrong. I just don't see it happening that way because of the level of the defense that's played there. Man.
You don't have to.
Until the bullies are punched in the face and beaten, I gotta give it to the bullies.
There you go, man.
I'm going 2016 Niners.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Jesse.
Thanks a lot, man.
Great stuff, man. You're a hell of a guest. Really appreciate your info.
Thank you, guys, man. Appreciate you, man. Best of luck to you guys, and we'll do this hopefully again in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Jesse Holley, former Cowboys wide receiver, now host of Believe in Cowboys on the Believe Network.